What's going on, my Flyby family? It's your boy Izzy. Welcome if you're new. Cheryl Miller ended up dropping a nuke on the internet talking about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. We're about to get into it, but before we do that, y'all make sure y'all hit the thumbs up for your boy if you like the content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are trying to hit 19K, so if y'all can help me out with that, I highly appreciate it. And don't forget to get in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about this. Let's get it. All right, so if y'all don't know who this is, man, Cheryl Miller is basically Reggie Miller's sister. And one of the best women basketball players to ever live. Didn't get to play in the W due to knee injuries, but people recognize game, okay? Would have been one of the best in the league if she was able to play it. But ended up getting on all the smoke and talking about WNBA and Caitlin Clark. Let's get into the video.
It needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a black woman and hated because of my color.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised.
Mm-hmm.
And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth.
Right.
And Angel and her got along so well, and watching them practice. And just get it. And Caitlin's like, just fly. And watching her pass. And I didn't know how talented she was and how well she sees the game in a 3D version. Thinker. Defensively, a lot better than I thought and gave her credit for. So watching her and just spending a little time. And one thing, guys, that I've learned is to step back and let these kids be themselves. Look, I speak when I'm spoken to. I'm not sitting up there knocking on anybody's door, offering my advice because I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be social media, Instagram this. I don't know what it's like to be bombarded and have to be the breadwinner in the family and be a brand and be worried about what I do or say and everything else, and 24/7 being pulled in so many different directions and not knowing. Throw in the fact that if I'm insecure, if I've got my own mental issues going on, who do I talk to? I don't regret being born when I was.
Man, so as you can see, man, Cheryl Miller called out the WNBA, called out the hate that was going on. She said some amazing things in this interview here. A few things I do want to bring up, and one of them would be the hated or despised comment. It was a lot of Angel Reese fans that came in my comment section always saying, nobody hates Caitlin Clark. We hate her fan base. Fam, I literally saw a tweet where somebody called her white bread, and then another WNBA media head came in that comment section, and not to defend her, not to protect women's sports or protect her, but to actually agree with that comment and say even more crazy things about her. And before you say, oh, it was a man hating on women, nah, man, this was a woman saying white bread, and then another woman coming into that comment section hating on another woman. Like, it was women on women action. So you can't sit here and say, oh, no, it's men always hating on the WNBA. No, that is not the case. I saw a lot of women on women hate. It was ridiculous, all right? And then you see these same women who get in there and hate on the women basketball players or women players, and then start saying, hey, I wish men wouldn't cover the WNBA. It's crazy work. But another thing that Miller brought up was that cockiness kind of brought the hate on her as well. But honestly, man, I don't feel like being cocky was bringing hate. If you think about Michael Jordan, he was one of the most cockiest people from the 80s to the 90s, and people admire this man. I'm just saying. Then she brought up how she's a lot better defensively than people give credit for. And I've been saying that the entire time. She averaged a block and a steal a game. Are there things she can work on? Yeah, of course. But people act like she was just terrible, like couldn't play defense at all. And I'm like, dog, y'all need to stop that narrative, man. And one of the craziest things that I realized last year was that Caitlin Clark moved through the troll, moved through the criticism very well, man. Very maturely, didn't lash out, say crazy things about people's fan bases. And then I started to notice last year as well every time a player come out and say something about Caitlin Clark fan base, here comes everybody else talking about Caitlin Clark fan base and backing whoever made a statement about Caitlin Clark fan base. But there was no evidence of most of those accusations that came out saying, people are stalking them and all this good stuff. Not saying it didn't happen, but I'm just saying there was legit evidence. And you can legitimately identify this stalker of Caitlin Clark's that was sentenced and everything, right? Nobody came out and said anything about it, right? So it kind of made me question, like, are y'all really about protecting women's sports or protecting women players or women athletes? When that was going down, where was the advocacy then? It just doesn't make sense, man. Let's see. No one hates Caitlin Clark, but we hate how people made her Christopher Columbus of women's basketball without acknowledging greatness came before her. Look. Why do we have to acknowledge the people that comes before her? Why? It doesn't make sense. Yes, there are people that hate Caitlin Clark. Like I said, man, you calling her white bread, that is hate, man. I don't care how you paint it. That is hating Caitlin Clark, all right? And I have plenty of videos showing people that hate Caitlin Clark. It was ridiculous, man. We hate how people packed out Iowa basketball and said it was about basketball when it was about whiteness for so many of them. How do you know that, though? How do you know people's intentions of going to that game? See what I'm saying? Like, people jump to conclusions, don't even really know. Like, there's no way you can know this unless everybody who went came out and said, hey, we're doing this for whiteness. It's just ridiculous, man. What a ridiculous take. Great interview. Glad she's saying it. Can't imagine the immense pressure Clark must feel and the insanity she has had to endure behind closed doors for years. She handles it with grace and never complains. I respect it. I respect it a whole lot, man. I can only imagine going through all that. And she didn't say anything negative. You feel me? She didn't say anything negative, man. Really kept it low key. If she did have to express herself and say something about some of the things she was going through, kept it in a closed circle. Nobody leaking any information. So she has a solid circle. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel about what Cheryl Miller said, man. Do y'all think she was right about a lot of things? Do y'all think she was wrong? Let me know in the comment section. I love y'all. Y'all keep it smooth.